folks. Let's go ahead and get started here. My name is John Meredith, and I am one of the directors of business development at Hostfully.com, which is a property management software. Honored to present Eric Broughton, the Chief Executive Officer of OK2Charge, which you'll find is absolutely one of my favorite products that we integrate with. I mentioned it at every demonstration I do. I mention this product. And my team and colleague, Vedant Ajmera, who's Senior Business Development Representative at Hostfully. All right, jumping over to our next slide here. All right, OK2Charge provides embedded smart EV charging solutions in the vacation rental, hospitality, single and multifamily verticals. Our OK2Charge's smart EV charging system provide a fully automated solution not found in other EV charging platforms. A little bit about Hostfully, and then we'll jump into Eric's presentation. At Hostfully, our goal is to make the most of every stay by helping vacation rental companies and property managers make more money, save time, and improve the traveler's overall experience. Hostfully's success story started about 7 years ago through active vacation rental managers who look for solutions to make their hosting experience more pleasant, efficient, and wow their guests. It all began with our Guidebook platform, and then we added our property management platform, which provides a tip-to-tail end-to-end management solution. Our system currently manages over 50,000 properties, and we have clients in 80 different countries and serve around 250,000 travelers a year. In our Guidebook platform, we have over 1 million viewers per month and over 500,000 recommendations. We've won several industry awards. We recently have the Preferred Plus partner status with Airbnb, Preferred with Verbo, and Premier partner status with Booking.com. We're the only property management platform in the United States with these statuses from the big three. We're very proud of that. We've won the Keystone Awards back-to-back for the best property management software and best property management software to grow with. And we also recently won the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Award from Verma. Couple things here. We have two standalone products, the property management platform and the Guidebooks. I'd like to go through those with you here. I've Hostfully help you manage your business from tip to tail, as I mentioned. We have the property data side of Hostfully, which will become your central place where you manage all the details of your listing. So essentially everything from pictures, descriptions, amenities, pricing, and availability will be all managed in Hostfully. Distribution will be able to sync with all your direct channels that you have connected to our channel management. As of right now, we're fully integrated with Airbnb and Booking.com and a few other channels. We also offer the ability to integrate with your current website, but if you don't have your own website, you can use our out-of-the-box direct booking website, which I'll show you, we can show you one of our demonstrations going forward. We also have on the booking side of things where we have a centralized reservation system, flexible calendar where you can filter all your reservations and create quotes for potential clients. We also have a direct integration with a few payment processors such as PayPal, Stripe, and Vacation Rent Payment. We have a guest experience, which we can automate emails, text messages, and have a unified inbox where all the property management owners can communicate with the Hostfully platform across all different channels. And our Guidebooks, which are best in class, one of our unique products, two standalone products. But we found that a lot of other property management softwares don't have the Guidebook, so it's a great product to integrate with relative to working with Hostfully. The Guidebooks are fully customizable, feature a splash screen to build your CRM, mobilely responsive, and helps you enhance the guest experience and upsells and several different things. We'll be glad to send you more information about that in one of our follow-ups. Onto reporting, where you'll be able to have access into daily and weekly check-in and check-out reports, transaction reports, and financial reports. We also offer an owner's portal, which is a very great feature where property owners can see financial statements and the calendar of their guests. The property management platform has a mobile app, which will help when you're on the go. This app gives all the details on reservations, calendar, as well as messaging guests. All right, one key thing, and one of the reasons I like OK2Charge so much is it really shows us the difference between working with a container type product where all of your property management software is in one container that you're paying a lot for versus a tech stack type philosophy product where because of the way our API is built, we're able to integrate with companies like OK2Charge and also companies that haven't come out yet. So I think that's one of the key differences here. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Eric Broughton, who's going to take over from here. And thank you so much, Eric. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate the opportunity. And also want to just put in a plug for Hostfully, one of the coolest and smartest CEOs I've met out there. You're just amazing. So if you have a chance to chat with her, highly encourage that as well. But I appreciate the partnership. I'm loving grow together with you. And it's been a great experience so far. So thank you so much. So I am Eric Broughton. I am the CEO of OK2Charge. We're an electric vehicle charging platform. We try to be as much as possible for the vacation rental owners and operators. And we're excited to talk to you today. Really more education about EV charging. That's what we're here to talk about. And then a little bit, about our platform, but really just to talk to you about EV charging. I think there'll be a little poll that pops up, but so how many of you drive EVs today? So if you drive an electric vehicle today, go ahead and click that poll. I'm a electric vehicle driver myself. I have a Tesla Model S. It is crazy fast, sidebar. But also, I have range anxiety. I am an engineer. I am a father. I have 3 daughters. I drive across the country. I want to charge, but most importantly, I want to charge where I sleep, and I want to charge where I live, or possibly where I work, or where I vacation. And that's where these statistics come into play. 3 in 5 travelers, they're willing to spend a little bit more for sustainability. People you see it on Airbnb now. They have, our Airbnb for a while has had this drop down in their search criteria where you use an electric vehicle. Booking.com is the same thing. If you talk to Verbo, they're not quite there yet, but they do have EV charging as part of their amenities. And what happens is, if you have EV charging as part of your properties, you go from competing with, say, like if you're in the Outer Banks or even Lake Tahoe, you might be competing with 1,000 other 2-bedroom, 2 baths or 4-bedroom, 4 baths type properties. Now you're down to about 15. So now you reduce that competitive footprint that you're dealing with, and then your ADRs start going up, and you see a lot more opportunity. And that's where this property opportunity with the level 2 chargers come into play. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. So a big number, I already did a little bit of a reveal there, but we worked with a group called Beyond, who's also a partner. You saw that on the previous slide that John was putting up there with Hostfully. Beyond, separate from us, they did an analysis and said, what is the impact of having an electric vehicle charger at a property across the United States for the last year? If you had an EV charger, your average daily rent, your ADR has went up 12.8% just by having an EV charger, not collecting fees or anything else, because of that uniqueness of your property. That is massive. I think Brooks said it best with Ventry. He said, EV charging is the new hot tub in mountain states, mountain areas, and it's a new beachfront and beach areas as well. So you're seeing that as becoming a very valued asset for these properties, and it really increases that ADR. So forget about all the other things I'm going to talk about today. Just by having it, and if you can do it intelligently, then you recover those costs. Just by having that, you're seeing a 12.8%. So great statistics from our friends at Beyond. And like I said, nothing to do with us. So it's always better to be validated by an outside source. But let's take a big step back. A lot of people, we see the poll, how many people have an EV. If you have an electric vehicle, there's a difference between charging stations, and that's how quickly you can charge. So I'm going to do a little education here. There's how people refer to electric vehicle chargers. There's a level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1, that's the most basic. And that's where you have a level 1 charger, and it's basically you plug it into your wall outlet. Oh, what's happening there, John? Is someone overwriting me? All good. So you have a level 1 charger, and what happens in the level 1 charger, you plug it into your wall outlet, and that's going to add about 1 to 2 miles for every hour that it's plugged in, maybe 2, maybe 3 miles for a better charger to your car battery to speed up that to add, it's like basically adding fuel. You're adding energy to your vehicle. So that's, as you can imagine, if you have a larger battery and you're relying upon it, like my Tesla, it's about a 300-mile range. It's going to take 2 or 3 days for me to recover if I drove to a vacation home plugging into the wall. But keep in mind that still the electricity is coming out of your property. On the other side, you have a level 3, and that's these superchargers. You see them at the malls, at the grocery stores, that Tesla superchargers, Electrify America. Those are really expensive to put in. $50,000 for one of those devices, maybe another 40 or 50 to have them installed. So very expensive, and that's where you'll charge up your car, and that's usually about 10 miles per minute. So you'll hear people say, I'm going to park there for 30 minutes, and usually you get about 50% of your battery back. after that 30 minutes. But then if you're going to stay there a full hour and a half, that's how you get your battery fully charged. But a lot of people like me, I have heavy ADHD. I don't like to sit that long. So if I'm going to drive from Chicago to Austin, I'm going to have to stop every 100 to 150 miles and top off my battery and get about 50% charge. Because what happens is, as you charge up your battery, the closer you get, once you get past 80%, the charging curve actually starts to slow down. So it may take you as long from 90 to 95% as it does to go from 20 to 30% or 20 to 50% of your battery. So a little bit more data there. If you don't drive an electric vehicle, just know that. So that's why we focus on the level 2. We think that's a perfect opportunity for vacation owners and vacation property managers, because what happens is you park your car at a vacation home overnight, you're able to recover all that battery. Even if you're down to 10-20% of your battery left, you can recover that in about 6 to 8 hours, which is perfect. And it's what I have at home for my personal use. And I think that's, if you're an owner of a vacation property and you want to charge your vehicle, you're going to want a level 2 charger. And it's 240 volts, the same as like an electric dryer or a hot tub. And any average electrician can install these devices as well. And so that's where we focus in that area. And we're shipping them out to multifamily properties, to hotels, but a lot of vacation owners everywhere from, Lake Tahoe. We're partnered with Hostfully, get the property in San Francisco, have one of our chargers there, all the way to Outer Banks and in Mexico. And I saw some people from Canada. And then we're working with a client right now to get them in Brazil here soon. So pretty exciting times. We're not in Europe just yet. So pretty exciting. And then for those of you saying, well, I don't know about this EV thing, it's a fad. You don't want to be like the person that said the internet's a fad. That's what's kind of this is going to go. And also people say, well, that's just for rich people, but my goodness, look at Hyundai. It has 23 EV models that are coming out by 2025. You'll see that happening right now. You'll have the Ioniq, and they're turning out to be $40,000, $35,000, maybe $50,000 vehicles. But it's becoming more affordable and more on par. It's just like if anyone remember the crank window in your car, roll the window down, roll it up. Now everyone has just pull it, rolls it up, rolls it down, all electronic. You actually have to pay extra to get a roll up window in your car because there's more moving parts. Same with electric vehicles. What these manufacturers are finding, instead of 10,000 parts in an automobile, think about an engine with all the gears and everything else. In an electric vehicle, it's about 100 different parts. If you're a manufacturer, you want to manufacture electric vehicles. That's why you're seeing all these adoption there. Also on the support and the maintenance, you're going to see all this coming, and the costs are coming down. So by 2025, you're going to see anybody that wants to buy an electric vehicle will be able to buy them at very cost effective. And then by 2030, you're going to start to see cars with 200 miles of range below $20,000. You heard it here first. It's going to start happening. So this is happening, and it's happening at properties. It's not just for rich people anymore. It's for everybody. So that's happening right now. And this is the adoption.
Yes.
Yep, we're seeing a significant adoption of these properties as well, of EVs. And we're seeing by 2030, which is only 7 years away, you'll have over 50% of the vehicles sold. And I think that's a conservative number right now. Will be electric vehicles that are sold, which puts about 33% that are on the road will be electric. So significant growth. And globally, we just saw in Norway right now, Norway has more miles driven in 2022 on electric than they had in internal combustion engines. That's the adoption we're seeing across the world. US is actually behind quite a bit in electric vehicle adoption. We're just crossing that 5% threshold, which if you've read The Innovator's Dilemma, that's kind of where that bleeding edge. Now you have more of the emerging opportunity, and you're going to start to see that growth curve really become kind of an S, and really heavy growth of electric vehicles. So you don't have to take my word for it; it's happening, and your people that are staying in your properties are driving their electric vehicles. So let's make it amenable to them.
Hey, Eric, I've got a couple questions regarding a couple of the slides we've gone through. You want to wait to the end for the questions, or you want to jump on a couple of these questions as we're moving through?
If they're relevant, go ahead and ask them. Yep, if there's something I haven't done. Mm-hmm.
One of the questions was regarding the 12.8%. Is that 12.8% increase or 12.8% ADR?
It's a 12.8% increase in the ADR. It's a percentage increase. Yep. So if they have a $100 the average was $100. It was $112.80 if you had an EV charger. Yep.
All righty. And then another question for one of our attendees. They have a level 2 charger already installed at their vacation rental. Is there any benefit for us to use the OK2Charge service?
If it's one of our approved platforms, which is either Enel's Juice Box or Siemens, we just received interoperability. They can send us a note afterwards, and we'll take a look. We can sometimes put our software and put our faceplate on it. I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. But another thing that's of value is the chargers themselves under $1,000, so we can switch those out with one of our new smart chargers. And you'll be able to pay that off very quickly with some of the return by people paying for their stay. And the big thing is, if you don't have a platform like ours, that's where you have a smart, even if we call them a dumb charger, it's a tough word, but it's if you have a charging station, you're really allowing these guests to pull electricity from your bottom line faster. It's nice to be green, but if you're going in the red on your utility bills without recovering them, that's where we come in. So we can probably return that investment pretty quickly.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, great questions. Yeah, and I'll keep on going, John, so feel free to jump in there and put a stop to me. All right, so that's basically why we created OK2Charge. Some of you that know my background, John was mentioning on LinkedIn, I came from some very big companies. I joined OK2Charge last April, so just hit my 1-year anniversary because I'm so excited about the opportunity. And there is a massive opportunity, and as many opportunities, it's because the niche is not being managed properly by other groups. If you just buy a EV charger from Costco or from Amazon, you're not able to recover your utility costs. And that's really why we built our platform, and we integrate with a group like Hostfully, because a property management system, because it's an intelligent way to manage your experience versus just having a utility that's allowing people to pull electricity from your bottom line more quickly. So we created this platform, and I'm going to talk about this a bit more, but these are kind of the highlights of why we built OK2Charge. And so I'm going to dig into this a little bit. When you have a smart charger that we have, and you have that in your property, it's connected to Wi-Fi, you have our software, your drivers, they scan a QR code. If you go back to, I'll go back to my slide right here. This is one of our chargers up in our left-hand corner. If you look really close, you can see there's a QR code. A driver pulls up, they can either do it in advance or they pull up and they scan it with their phone. They're able to put in their credit card information. And what we'll do for your property or for your guests, because of our integration with Hostfully, we're able to send them an email in advance, and they can actually pay for the use of that charging experience for 1 day or for their entire stay. And they can do that in advance, show up, scan it, put in their email address, and they're using the charger. It's very simple, not even an app to download. It's all mobile responsive. So it's very easy to use.
Hey Eric, I had a quick question. Is there a particular discount if you prepaid it in advance, or like obviously the more you pay, the lower the price? But
yes,
if you could touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, and that's a configurable by the property owner or the property manager, and that's the beauty of our platform. It's all software driven. So you can even say, okay, this property in Lake Tahoe, I want to, if they pay for 1 day, it's $25. If they pay for all 7 days, it's $100. So they can do that to pay for to reduce that cost. And then what we can do as well is, if they show up, to your point, if they show up on site and we say, you know what, we just want to make this, cost by kilowatt hour that's here. We call that the pay as you go. They may not be registered and you want to make it open to people, they can pay 40 cents per kilowatt hour as an example, or whatever you set. Because a property in San Diego, they're probably paying 38 cents a kilowatt hour. Somebody in Topeka, Kansas is probably paying 12 cents a kilowatt hour. So we can change that price so you can recover your cost of electricity, plus make some margin on the top. There's other fees like connection fees. And again, configurable. We're not forcing this on you, because we've been property managers. We've been, property owners. We know that there's not one size fits all. And that's the difference. If you see the founders, you see the team members that we have, even our sales team, Expedia experience, Verbo experience, property owners, property managers that know what's important to you. So we're not some big company that just tries to force one model down you. We're trying to work with you. And the last item is that access control. That's the real secret sauce for Hostfully integration. We know who's staying and how long. So if you say, oh my goodness, I have this charger, it's on the side of the garage, it's wide open, I want to only allow my guests to use this, we pull that information from Hostfully and know who's staying and how long, and we can restrict that to only that person. Because what happens, you get these power pirates, and it's a Tesla 3 driver that does Instacart all day long, and they drive Uber, and once they find out that your property has an EV charger, maybe call it a dumb charger, not like ours, and they know it's there, and then guests aren't there, they're going to park right in your parking in front of your garage, and they're going to be siphoning off your power while they're sitting and watching Netflix and their Tesla, while off of your power. And that's what we protect. Here's a snapshot of the question that Vedant asked. They can either get the email in advance or they can activate it on site. And this is a mobile responsive. Again, you get your phone, you hold it up with your camera, just like you would at a restaurant. It shows the QR code, they click it, they log in. I did this myself. I can click my sign in with my Google. I automatically pop up some information. I go to my credit card, autofill with your credit card information. Next thing, you're able to charge right then and there. It's outstanding. It's simple, nothing to download. If you look at some of the competitors like ChargePoint or EVgo, there's others, or even buy something from Amazon. What you have to do is you have to download an app. Then you have to pay like $50 up front to load up an account. I was at this property in Wisconsin this past winter, went up to New Glarus, beautiful vacation property, and I needed to charge my vehicle. But they had this program out front where I scanned the QR code, I had to download an app, then I had to confirm it was me, then I had to put in my email address, again do a dual authentication, then I had to type in my credit card. It was probably about 2 degrees below zero. It was a painful experience. So again, learning from this, make it easy. And here's a perfect screenshot of pay for the full stay or pay one day, and then you're off and charging. And also you can log back in or open up your web page again on your phone and see, oh, I'm at 50% charge. I'm at 60% charge. You know what? I want to shut this off now, or I want to turn it back on. All those controls right on your phone. So make it super easy for your guests to manage. This is a screenshot of what it looks like in our Hostfully integration. We're able to see all these different stays, how long they're staying. And one thing unique again that we do, if you're an EV owner if you're an EV owner and you own a property, we can set it up so that the owner gets free charging. So that if you own a property, you don't want to have to pay for charging at your own property. So you just pull up with your EV, you say, hey, I'm Eric Broughton, I own this property, and you're charging for free. And that comes across from Hostfully. We know who the owners are. So very clean integration, a lot of power there as well. And the nice thing is if you're a property manager, you can look across your portfolio of your properties. And in this case, they have 11 of their 250 properties, because they're just starting, are electric vehicle charging properties. They can see how much revenue is coming in, how much electricity is coming in. If one of the chargers has an issue, they can send a maintenance tech out, or they can call our team and say, hey, OK2Charge, seems to be an issue with this charger. What do you guys think? We can look through our software and say, oh, okay, there was a credit card issue. We're going to resolve that for you. Or looks like something happened to it. These chargers have a 3-year warranty. You can buy a 5-year warranty, and then they're really easy to replace as well. Just 3 wires, clip it off, and it's very simple with your electrician to do that. So you can go to portfolio down to a single property. Something else that we've started to do is that we actually work with you again as a property manager to say, do you want the chargers to be publicly available on a site like PlugShare, so an electric vehicle driver will know? And we have clients that own resorts, and they'll say, it doesn't matter if it's a guest or if somebody pulls off the interstate, they can charge. It's OK2Charge at this property because we want to make revenue. This is an ATM. We just want to crank out as much revenue as possible. We can put it on a site like PlugShare, and people will know, I'm going to stop at this property, how much they're going to pay, and it's a revenue generating. We can also put on this site and say, this is only restricted to guests, and this becomes a new way to increase bookings and get you direct bookings. So we can put a link to your website for this unit so people will know, hey, this is an EV charging property, And if I'm an EV driver and I want to stay at a short-term rental, we've found that this is an interesting stat. It's mostly hotels today, but according to PlugShare, they said 25% of their users are using this platform to see where they're going to stay. So it's very fascinating. We're starting to see this increase of electric vehicle drivers, because if I'm driving again, I need to see where I'm staying, and I need to know that there's an electric vehicle charger where I'm staying, because I do not want to drop off the wife and kids and then drive 10 more miles to an EV charging station or a supercharger and spend an hour and a half, hanging out. That's not my idea of a good time. I want to charge where I'm sleeping. So I'll use that as a precursor to know where I'm going to stay. And we're starting to see some booking activity come from that as well, which is pretty exciting. And you can mark it as reserved for guests.
Hey, Eric, we have a couple of questions.
Okay.
One of the attendees, John, he asked, how would this work if a property is either in an apartment building or like a development?
Is the question, how does it work if it's an apartment building?
Yeah.
Or a co-op?
Yeah,
Yep, absolutely. So we definitely work with apartment buildings as well, and even HOAs. So two different ways we're looking at that. The most common for apartment buildings, especially that, and then also condos and kind of resort style, is we do the pay-as-you-go, and that is where it's open chargers. Let's say you put in 4 chargers. We say each one is 40 cents a kilowatt hour. The nice thing is we partner with the HOA, and we're able to take that margin off the top and give a nice money back to the HOA, so that this becomes a revenue generator versus an expense for them. So they may have to put some money up front, but then it becomes an expense. The other thing is, if the HOA says these 3 units and these are assigned parking spots, and they want to pay for the charging station, through our software, you can restrict it to only the guests for those units and only the guests that park in that parking spot. Again, that's where the Hostfully integration comes in, because Hostfully will tell us these are the 3 units or the 12 units that are approved and that are these parking spots, and only those people are OK2Charge. Sorry, I had to get that plug in there one last time. So that's a different models we can do. And again, reach out to us and we'll collaborate with you to make sure it's a scalable solution for you.
Got it. So would that also, would it be possible for non-residents, like STR residents, to use if it's available, if the HOA agrees?
If the HOA agrees and we configure our system that way, yes, we can absolutely make it available to others. But one thing we can do as well, we've done this as well, we can have a discount to guests or HOA members. So that's something we've done as well in a condo. We just did this in Breckenridge, where you have the people that are members of the HOA and that are their owners of the condo, they pay 20 cents a kilowatt hour. Anybody who's a guest will pay 40 or 50 cents a kilowatt hour. And we can do that by getting a list of people. So when they sign up, we'll say, oh, it's Vedant. He can pay 20 cents because he is an owner at this property. So another powerful opportunity there.
Got it. Awesome.
Great question. All right, and then we make it super easy. I won't dwell on this too much, but it's just $1,000 and $999. You get the charger. It covers the first year of our subscription software. Usually that's in the side of the garage. You put it, if it's in a condo area, you put it against the wall. If you need a stand, like a multifamily area, it's garden style, you need to put up some posts. It's $750, and you can put 1 or 2 of them on there. If it's in a remote area, we're working with a group, Tiny Homes up in Oregon. I love this model. It's we put a cellular router out there, so you have Wi-Fi wherever you are. It's $500 for the cellular router, $25 a month. So keeps it nice and simple. The cost is reasonable. Next question is usually like installation. We've seen everything from, if you have your own electrician and they're in house, $250 for some parts and material, up to maybe $1,500 if they have to do some trenching, maybe pull from the house to the garage type thing, and that's variable. And then you'll have to look at, there's so many different incentives and rebates. We frankly can't keep up with it. So if you have something, feel free to apply for that, but make sure you read the fine print on that. But we just make it very simple for you to buy from us. Feel free to drop us a note. Here's what they look like out in the wild. I mentioned the 2 stand right there up to the left. That's look like some of those properties. Here's on the side of a garage that you'd see. Here's the middle of an outdoor garage. And ththese are all NEMA 4X as well. So that means these are tightly enclosed, whether it's snow up in the mountains in Breckenridge, whether it's sand in Destin, Florida, and you're right there by the beach and everything in between. These things are made to be outdoors or indoors. It's totally fine as well, and made for heavy duty use. And this bottom right is an office complex that we're supporting. Tons of myths, but I'd rather open it up to questions from the group. But we could talk about these myths all day long about too expensive. Well, what's expensive is having a dumb charger and eating all the electrical costs. That's expensive. Or losing a lease or losing a booking. You could lose one booking and you'll eat up the cost. So one of our partners that's I guess Breckenridge again. This is a single family home. They had a person say, "Hey, I'm driving up from Denver. I have my Tesla Model X, whatever the one with the gull wings." They said, "You got an EV charger?" Nope. Okay, well that's a $2,000 booking gone, and now they have an EV charger and they're starting to get those bookings. And as we saw with the Beyond update, that ADR starts to go up, and they did an A/B test. They're seeing their property that has the EV charger. They're able to push their rents, their booking volume, not just occupancy, but also their amount they're asking, because the clientele give a shorter list of competitors that you have in that list. So pretty exciting opportunity.
Hey, Eric, can I interrupt you with a couple of quick questions? And first of all, I saw this product in the wild. Yeah. Our co-founder and president, David Jacoby, has it at his vacation rental. It's actually a beautiful looking product when you see it live. Couple of quick questions here. Is the OK2Charge solution available in Canada?
It is. Yep.
Okay.
We just had one of our team members attending a summit up there as well. So we're starting to grow in that market. Yes.
Okay. Are there any recurring expenses relative to the product?
Yeah, great question. There's on the charging side, as far as the transactions, we do an 80-20 revenue split. So 80% goes to us, 20%, I'm sorry, flip that. 20% goes to us. I'm not that greedy. 80% goes to generally the property manager, but you can also either go right to the owner, however you want to distribute those funds. The 20% is so that we manage all those communications, networking fees, also credit card transaction fees, all that good stuff. And there is $199 per year. It's included in that first year fee for the software. So that's included as well. So each year we'll incur those costs.
Thank you, Eric. What is the time frame for delivery after you order the product? And is there a Wi-Fi or hardware Ethernet connection instead of cellular?
Yeah, great question. So we have immediate availability. We generally can ship these out, and once we'll send you out a quick quote. You can even buy it at our shop.OK2Charge.com or reach out to one of our sales team members at Go Green at OK2Charge. As soon as you pay us, we're going to ship these out within, I'd say, 5 business days. They're going to show up at your property. It's really the lag is usually like getting an electrician out there to install them, and electricians are busy now, so get them on board and scheduled yesterday. And then the other question was, what was that, John?
Are you able to, let me pull it out. Is there Wi-Fi or hardware Ethernet connection instead of cellular?
Yeah, great question. They're all great questions. Wi-Fi, absolutely, as we support that as well today, and works great in vacation homes. We do not have an Ethernet option right now. We're working on that with our partners to make sure we have an Ethernet option in the near future. But yeah, you can either do cellular router or you can use Wi-Fi.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. How about, this is kind of a broad question, are you working with any local government or regional county to deliver a wider EV charge infrastructure? And how does that affect the pricing, if any?
Yeah, we're not, unfortunately, the larger government entities, they're not thinking about vacation except for, trying to give us too many regulations. They're not as supportive on the incentives and rebates side just yet, which is why a lot of the owners we find are able to get some rebates as a single family owner per se. So less on the property manager side. What we do and recommend is that you look at each individual scenario. We just ran a list of one of our clients in San Diego, and unfortunately there was nothing available for this client. But then we ran another one in a small area in Utah, and we found there was $250 rebates that they had in place. And another group that we're working with in Texas, they have $1,000 rebates. And then I think there's a group in Colorado. Colorado had an initiative. So it really depends. It's a tough answer, but it depends on the area you're in. But we can collaborate with you to work on that to reduce your costs. But the big thing to keep in mind is, a lot of these government programs, that money can disappear. So I'm usually hesitant as well to rely upon that, which is why we focus on an ROI without any government incentives. I look at that as gravy. So the key ROI is charging those guests to recover your electricity costs, and then getting a positive ROI on a little bit of amenity upcharge and/or the increase in ADR.
Thank you, Eric. A couple more questions. We'll save those towards the end, and we can go ahead and continue with the presentation.
Yeah, well, that's really I didn't want to, any more I go is going to be some more details that'll probably bore the living daylights out of everyone. So, things such as like that EV charging curve that I spoke about. But I think that's the big stuff. I'll leave it to questions from the group, and just really excited to partner and continue to grow. And we've already had some people reach out even before this webinar. So thank you for the reach and partnership.
You're welcome. So we'll just jump into some questions here. Eric, can the EV collect payment for the property owner?
Yes, absolutely. For the electric vehicle charging, not for the stay. So we don't collect money for the stay or pool heating or anything like that. But yes, we absolutely collect payment for the EV charging activity in advance or up front or during their stay. Yes.
Okay, great. Another similar question, and this is also, what is the opportunity to pass the EV charge fee to the property management system in hotels, healthcare, extended stay, senior living, et cetera? I'll answer for Hostfully. Inside our software, you can configure these charges and bill your guests for specific charges. But relative to the OK2Charge software, Eric, is there anything built in for you can actually pass the cost on to the guest?
Yeah, not today. That is on our roadmap, and it's part of our partnership conversations. That's where, I think the folio concept, I think it'll make the most sense in hotels. Right now in vacation, we're not seeing that. I think it goes back to what you just said, John. If you want that as part of your fees, recommend you have that included as part of your Hostfully setup. And then what you do is you say, OK2Charge, I don't want you to charge my guests. I just want you to do the access control because I took payment through Hostfully.
Yeah, well said, Eric. Thank you so much for that tidbit on how they can use Hostfully for this that scenario. Another quick question here. Is there an integration with the Appfolio Property Management platform?
Not today, but whoever that person is, reach out to us. Appfolio has a great API. We're already integrated with Entrata, and then we get nightly data feeds from Yardi and RealPage. All we'd have to do with Appfolio is we would get a nightly rent roll, which would be sent by a CSV, and our team, all automatic. We load that rent roll, so we would know if it's a 250 unit property. Every lease from lease 101 and unit 101, it's Jane Doe to John Smith, and we can definitely do that. But reach out to us, and we'd be more than happy to do a direct integration. But we can handle that pretty quickly.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Those in the room, any other questions you'd like to ask Eric or Hostfully, me and Vedant, that we can answer for you? Looks like we've covered all the questions that were submitted to us. Vedant, we got any more polls that we want to put up?
I think we have 2 polls, which we can end the webinar with. One is, how many of you have lost the booking by not having an EV charger? It would be great if. And then there is one last one. And thank you in advance for everyone who's filled out these polls.
This is great. Great experience and great platform. Really enjoyed the questions. EVs are electric vehicles are going to continue to grow, and they're becoming more cost effective. So appreciate the partnership.
You're welcome, Eric. Can I ask you kind of like an off the wall question about autonomous vehicles, just to make this a little fun before we wrap it up? What's going on with autonomous vehicles? For some reason, when I think about OK2Charge, I think of pressing a button and having a vehicle show up at my vacation rentals. How far away is that into the future, if at all?
I'll answer with the way Bill Gates gave an answer one time. He said, we always overestimate what we can accomplish in a year, but we underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. So wonderful. I think we're well beyond a year away from autonomous vehicles. I do believe in 10 years it will become more normal. And I'll give a perfect example. I'm a Tesla owner. I have a Tesla Model S. I have a pretty recent model. I received the full self-driving beta about 3 months ago. And before that, I was one of those guys said, this self-driving thing is kind of a red herring in that it's no better than lane assist and automatic cruise control. But with the latest upgrade I received about 3 months ago, I went from Midway Airport all the way to my house in Naperville, which is about 28 miles, which includes 3-lane roads and interstate with 4 lanes, down to my little burb and housing area with roundabouts. The whole thing right up into my doorway, and all I did every 2 minutes touch my steering wheel, and it did it, and it was amazing. So it's possible. We're not 100% there yet, but it's pretty darn close. All
right, I appreciate that great response. And this is the last question, then we're going to end the webinar here. One of our attendees has a question. We have our own solar panels. Will this work with an independent power system? And also, do you cover the United Kingdom? The 2 final questions, unless we get a couple more to pour in here. I'm getting some last minute questions in.
I'll start at the end first. United Kingdom, not today, unfortunately. Keep on following us, and eventually we will be. Like I said, we have some South America first, based on some strategic clients that we're working with. And then as far as solar, we have a couple clients that are doing that today. The key thing is that it really doesn't matter about the charging platform. It matters about your sub panel and how you're receiving that power and through a battery. So I mentioned a client that has tiny homes, very remote location. They have solar, they have batteries, which plug into the power stations. It's 240 volt. It's standard. Any electrician can install this, and the solar has to have that transformer that delivers that energy. But she was able with her very first OK2Charge stay, she's able to pay for electricity costs because it's all solar. So she's making profit on really day one with our solution. And so it's pretty exciting because really she's powering these tiny homes, which don't take a whole lot of extra energy. So she's actually being able to take this energy and sell it and become her own little utility. So it's been pretty fun to see that. So the long answer to a short question is yes.
Amazing. Great story about the tiny homes. Well, it looks like we've recovered all the questions in our question box here. Eric, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure to present this amazing product and company alongside with Hostfully. So have a wonderful afternoon, everybody. And we'll be following up with all of our attendees with a link to a recordation of our webinar today. And have a wonderful day, and thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it.